Berkshire Hathaway's annual shareholders meeting is normally a celebration of investing with thousands of Warren Buffett fans and investors in attendance. But this year, it was just 12 people. And Yahoo Finance, of course, was the exclusive network broadcaster. Warren Buffett was supposed to go on for a total of about an hour, but instead, Mr. Buffett gave us a masterclass on investing and life for a whopping 4.5 hours. Our in chief, Andy Serwer, was in the room for it all. Andy, it should be noted, you were the only person in that room. What was it like?
Yeah, I was the only person in the room who didn't work for Berkshire Hathaway. I think that's actually, in fact, the case. And although Warren's daughter, Susie, was in there for a little bit as well. So a family member in addition to me. But, it's interesting when you mentioned this part about how long he was going to speak. And we were all surprised. I mean, you're right. He did indicate to me that it was going to be about an hour, and 15 minutes of that was going to be the business part of the meeting, the accountants and ratifying the votes and that kind of stuff. And then he was going to take 45 minutes of questions that were going to come from Becky Quick of CNBC. She was getting those all from shareholders. By the way, the reporters those aren't their questions they asked. Those are questions from shareholders. Just clarification there. And so what's interesting to me is that, he said, well, I'm going to talk for a little bit. And, he ended up doing this soliloquy about American history that went on for well beyond 90 minutes. I mean, and we were just sort of shocked as it kind of kept going and going. And at one point he said, well, this is a little bit longer than I thought I was going to do. And then, Becky Quick told me, she gets a lot of questions and she just tees them up and keeps going until he wraps her. We all know what that phrase is in our business. And Buffett just kept on going,
It was, I have to say that we were surprised too. We're like, when's he going to stop? But it was delightful and always great to hear what he has to say and to get his insights. But I want to talk a little bit about the auto insurance industry, where Buffett stands on that, especially when it comes to Geico.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually interesting. Going back to when I spoke to Buffett in early March, Alexis, I asked him if he was already starting to see things in his businesses that were changing because of the coronavirus. And he told me, well, we're starting to see less accidents because people are driving less. And then the questions would become, well, is that good for Geico or not? In any event, he delved into that a bit here at the annual meeting. Here's what Warren Buffett had to say about Geico.
At Geico, we're the second largest auto insurance company, and different auto insurers are handling a sharing of the better experience with their policyholders in different ways. Our plan will deliver back $2.5 billion roughly or so in recognizing the reduced frequency of accidents during this period. What we don't know is how long this will continue. I mean, people want to drive their cars still, but conditions have reduced that driving dramatically, obviously. Now, we have instituted a program that runs saving people money for 6 months, and so far, other people have largely been 2 months, but some of them have given a little more for those 2 months than we give per month. Our total is the greatest at $2.5 billion, and in addition to that, we and all the others in the industry, it's not just Geico, we've also, and insurance commissioners in many cases, I believe, have required it, but we have, we give people more time to pay if they aren't paying, and if they cancel their policy or if they don't end up paying us, we've in effect giving them free insurance during that period. And the delay in payments is obviously increased. Delay of payments on, if you got a shopping center getting rent, the delay in payments is what happens during a period like this. And that will be a significant cost to us. We don't know how significant it will be. There will be more uninsured motorists driving, and they cause a disproportionate amount of accidents.
So I think what he was saying is kind of a mixed bag for Geico. On the one hand, people are driving less, so that'll mean less claims. On the other hand, people won't be paying their premiums, which will be negative. And, another thing I should point out about Geico, you guys, is remember that Todd Combs one of his investing lieutenants has gone in temporarily to run that business. That happened before the coronavirus. And, he's got other stuff. He's on the board of directors of JP Morgan, as well as running the healthcare initiative for Berkshire Hathaway. So Todd Combs, and never mind running the investing, co-managing the investing operations for Berkshire. So Todd Combs has a lot on his plate right now.
Yeah, to say the very least. Andy, but we can't let you go without talking about these the moves in the airlines. Mr. Buffett dumping shares in the 4 major airlines, certainly getting a lot of attention this morning on the street.
Warren Buffett and airlines. It has not been a happy relationship historically, you guys. And yet again, they are biting him in the you-know-what. And, it's interesting because at first it looked good. It looked like it was really working out for him. I mean, Delta, what a great story that was. But, surprisingly, I think to some, he sold out the whole thing, lock, stock, and fuselage, right? And, what it says is it's actually a pretty scary thing, because he's saying it's not worth holding these things for a year or two until they come back, meaning there's so much uncertainty and it's going to take so long. I mean, he said it. There's too many planes out there. And he said that, the passengers just won't get back to the levels, the pre-coronavirus levels that we had for maybe many years to come. I mean, I was flying this past weekend out to Omaha. And on one plane, I was on an Embraer 175 that holds 70 people. There were 3 people on the plane. Okay. I mean, that is a money-losing proposition. The other flights I was on, maybe 25%, but it's scary. You're looking at someone coughing, people are wearing masks. Then there are people who won't wear masks. I'm not going to wear a mask. Well, great. Thank you very much for that. So it's really a very fraught situation there. And Brian, I think you said it, there are other businesses too that are, as I like to say, Alexis, in the soup. So, it's metaphorical, his airline investment, and not in a good way.
Andy, real quickly, what were the airports like when you traveled there?
I have never had such a beautiful experience in O'Hare in my entire life. It was empty, pristine, and clean. Yeah, I mean, you could, just eat off the floor. I mean, you wouldn't want to do that. But I mean, it was you never seen so much scrubbing and polishing going on. I mean, the Portland, Maine airport was completely empty. Literally, there were 2 of us in the entire airport. O'Hare, there were like, a dozen or so people. Minneapolis was a little more crowded. Omaha, a little more crowded. Philadelphia, for some reason, was crowded. There were all kinds of people running around in there. But maybe that's Philadelphia, and you can email me about Philadelphia if you don't like my comment about it. But it was pretty funny. But it's just very different, a very different experience. For the most part, no people, Brian, no people at all.
All right, Andy Serwer, awesome insight, great coverage over the weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.